they offered a choice. Submit or die. Death. No oath is worth such fealty. We did what we had to. Some will look down on us. Brand us traitors. Let them do so at the end of our blades. Promises hold no sway over us. A Viking must remain loyal to themselves. We are survivors.
Hello everybody, Raven Knight here. And it finally happened, guys. That's right, we're finally here. We've been waiting all year for this season to come around. The big Viking season we've been hearing so much about and waiting for so long. That's right, Year 7 Season 4 has officially been announced. It's called Treason. And today I got to sit down with you guys and watch the Warrior's Den. It was awesome. Got to see Havoc pop in. Got to hear some really cool stuff. Got to laugh, have a good old time with you guys. It was a really fun time. To all of you who showed up for the stream, thank you for coming. You made it all so much fun, but some of you I know couldn't come, or you couldn't stay the full time, or you had better things to do. I get it, I totally understand. So this video is for you. We are doing a recap video where we're going to talk about everything that was said in the Warrior's Den. I'm going to tell you my thoughts, I'm going to tell you what we're going to get, I'm going to tell you what you can kind of expect, and we'll just kind of go from there, guys. So I hope you guys are excited, but before we get started, I do want to thank you guys for coming. If you are brand new to the channel, I am the Raven Knight, and this is my channel. I have a second channel too, called Raven's Writing Room, so after you subscribe to this channel, it would mean a lot to me if you subscribe to that one. On both channels, you'll see me talk about gaming, including For Honor, Dead by Daylight, Rainbow Six Siege, and several others. I also talk about writing, storytelling, lore, world building, all that kind of stuff. It's a pretty fun channel where I get to talk about so many things that I enjoy, and I'm sure you'll have a fun time with it. So please subscribe, leave your comments down below. Would love to hear from you guys, and that's about it. Let's jump right into the good stuff. Let's get into what you're here for. Am I right, folks? So, Year 7, Season 4, Treason. It is very Viking themed. The first thing that I always look for when a brand new season starts is I want to get a feel for the season, you know? I want to kind of get an idea of what we're going for. What's the kind of feeling I'm getting? And really, guys, I was not disappointed for the feel here. The Viking feel is very real here. We got a very cold, dreary, very haunting kind of visage here. It almost felt like a Halloween season, almost with the misty fog surrounding everything, the cold winter chill. I felt a little cold just looking at some of the imagery. It looked really, really solid. So right off the bat, the appearance is on point. But following up that appearance was the music that plays. Guys, you gotta give For Honor this. Whether you enjoy the gameplay or enjoy the trailers or enjoy the Warrior's Den, if there's one thing I look forward to with each new season reveal, it is the theme for the season. This season, the music is god tier. This is such good music. It really gives you that Valhalla vibe, if you know what I'm saying. It just felt very strong, very powerful. I really recommend it. If you haven't heard it yet, it's just listen to this. I know, right? It's pretty crazy. So, already starting off the gate really, really well. I really enjoy what we saw. So, moving on from that, let's talk about the title update 1. Let's talk about what we're getting right off the bat. What's coming on December 7th? What are we going to get? Well, on December 7th, the new season drops. We're getting a brand new battle pass. The battle pass has some pretty interesting stuff on it. I actually like the weapons that we're getting this time around. Just like last season, each weapon kind of has a sort of theme to it depending on faction, and this time it's animals. For the knights, you got kind of a wolf theme. All of the knight weapons have kind of a wolf aesthetic. All the Vikings have kind of a bear aesthetic, so you get this big, strong bear kind of look. For the samurai, you got a boar aesthetic, which is kind of an odd choice for the samurai if you ask me, but hey, you know what? I've seen weirder. And then for the Wulin, you get a tiger theme, like a Siberian white tiger theme. Now for the Outlanders, it kind of was up in the air, like the Medjai looked like they got a cat kind of thing, and the Aphira looked like they got a wolf kind of thing. It was kind of weird, like I couldn't really tell what they were going for there. Maybe they were just trying to mix and mash, I don't know, but all of them look pretty good. I can't think of any weapon set that looked outright bad to me, but all of them look pretty neat. We also got some other cool stuff besides just the weapons. We got a brand new universal execution called Bloody Eagle, and as a history lover, I must say that while the Bloody Eagle performed here is not like the Bloody Eagle of actual history, it still looked pretty awesome, and I will be getting it for some of my characters because it just looks so good. It looked really good. Got a new signature, which is basically riding a pony. It looks silly, but it's just silly enough to get, so I think I will enjoy getting that. Got 2 new illustrious outfits, a couple of new effects, some new battle outfits. All in all, not bad. It looks really cool. I like what we're seeing in the battle pass, so I would say this is a pretty good battle pass. I would recommend getting it. We are also getting the return of Frostwind Betrayal, and if you guys don't know what that's all about, do you remember that game mode where you're basically fighting in a brawl setup, and there is a bunch of ice that you're fighting on, and the ice is gradually cracking, and eventually you'll fall in? Yeah, I forgot what that was called off the top of my head. I'm sure someone will let me know in the comments. I apologize for forgetting, but that's the game mode that's returning. It's going to be that same game mode again. I know you guys love it. It's a fan favorite. They bring it back every winter season, so hey, look forward to that. Get out there and enjoy it. But okay, that's the quick stuff. What's the real thing you're all waiting for? You know what the real thing you're waiting for. The new hero skin. The Highlander hero skin known as Maddox. Okay, so when I first saw the Highlander hero skin, I saw the trailer, and let me say this about the Highlander skin. My first thought was, awesome. This is such a cool hero skin. It looks incredible. The design looks great. It looks like something that I'd expect a Viking fantasy warrior to wear. You know what it reminded me of? It looked a bit like a Stormcloak officer's uniform, right? It looks like something out of Stormcloak territory from Skyrim, am I right? Except instead of a bear pelt he's wearing a saber-toothed tiger pelt. The beard is well trimmed. He's wearing an actual chainmail hauberk, it looks like. So it's not 100% historically accurate, but it looks pretty close. And his sword? What a big old sword, and it's so unique, you know? It's got that really cool Viking weave going up and down the blade. It just, oh man, it just looks so solid. This is a really solid looking hero skin. I'm not gonna say it's the best because I feel like Sun Wukong still holds that, but honestly, it's probably second best. I'd definitely put it above Vela and Ying Chen, and I know some people may disagree with me on that, but whew, it looks good. And don't worry, later on, I am going to do a ranking of the best hero skins so far this year, and then I'll compare that to last year's hero skins too. So don't worry, we will go into that. But right now, just know that his hero skin looks phenomenal. Now, let's go ahead and get this out of the way because this was a hot button issue during the stream. His overall lore. Okay, so they brought out the writer to talk about his lore. And if you guys watched my stream, you know that I had a negative reaction to the lore. I'd like to take this opportunity to amend some of what I said and clarify my points as best I can. First of all, his lore will not be released. His full 3-part lore story will not be released until the 8th of December. So can't talk about it just yet. I need to wait for that to come out before I can give my full thoughts and details. But based on what we saw, here's the basic lore that we know. So, after the whole Wulin thing fell through, Astria and her army of Horkos show up at this small little village in Valkenheim to threaten it and say, join us or die. Now, this village is under the protection and alliance of Chimera, whatever they're doing right now. And so the chieftain of this village says that we're not going to capitulate, we're not going to surrender, we will hold true to our oaths even unto death. Well, the chieftain's brother, Maddox, the hero skin, basically argues, what is the point in holding true to our oath if it ends up killing us? So he and his brother can't come to an agreement, so he kills his brother in cold blood and decides to join up with Horkos, causing a small Viking civil war. Okay. Here's my thought on that. The hero himself, Maddox, might be fine. In fact, I would argue there's a certain nobility to what he's doing. The idea that, honor does not supersede life. You should hold true to your values. If you value the life of your people over everything else, if you hold your people greater than your own honor, then absolutely. You know what? I get that. And there's definitely a place for that kind of story. But here's the problem I have. The writer described him and the way they designed him to be bestial, vicious. Like he wears the saber-toothed cat pelt to kind of show that he's given up some of his humanity. He's a wild and vicious warrior. And I liked that. I thought that's a cool idea. I thought that was awesome.
But it's great. I love those little Highlander elements you can see just have eroded down as he's been like
chipping away.
This is me now. This is the new me.
Yeah.
And for the first time in my life, I'm not gonna take it anymore. He's just really stepping into this more bestial persona.
In fact, he even says in the trailer, some may hate us, some may call us traitors, but they can criticize us at the end of my blade.
We did what we had to. Some will look down on us, brand us traitors. Let them do so at the end of our blades.
So basically, you can't judge me. I'll kill you first. I'm so tough, I'll kill you. It doesn't matter what you think of me. And all I can think is, so you're this badass, kick-ass warrior who's super tough, super strong, and doesn't take shit from anyone. And yet Astria points her sword at you and says surrender, and you immediately fold. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, some people have said, hold on, if he cares a great deal about his people, then it does make sense what he does, because obviously a lot of people would die in the ensuing fight. Yes, but think about who he's signing up with. Horkos has a bad track record for keeping people safe. In fact, if you look over the last year, Horkos loses so much that it's kind of like, how would his people be safe under Horkos? Let's see, we've got an Inquisition, which, yeah, they did a great job of keeping themselves together. Vela and her crew, how is her castle doing, by the way? Kind of overrun. And then you have the Wulins thing. Didn't all of the Wulin people who worked with Horkos in that bit get killed by the Wukong and Bai Gujing thing? And now we got this setup. Horkos doesn't have a good track record of keeping its people alive and keeping them healthy. I don't know. Now, some people have said, oh, well, he'd get killed and we won't get a new hero skin. I don't know. I mean, are you sure? He might have survived. Keep in mind, this is For Honor we're talking about. This is a game built around the idea of the romantic hero fighting against all odds. That's kind of something For Honor banked itself on. So I think there could have been ways you did this. I'll give you an example of what I think they could have done. And again, without reading his lore may be fine. His lore may be better than what I'm thinking here, but let me tell you how I would have done it. What if, when Horkos shows up and they threaten the village, he immediately says, I'm not giving in to them. I'm not surrendering to them. We're Vikings. We're sons and daughters of the North. We'll fight blood, tooth, and nail. I will slay them with my sword. They won't be able to take us. And his brother, the chieftain, says, now hold on, I think you're making a big mistake. Maybe we should listen to them. And he goes, you're a coward and a fool. If you're with me, you'll join me on the battlefield, and we'll die in glorious blood and fire. He goes out to fight and does great. He does an amazing job, but sees that his brother never showed up. His brother never came with reinforcements. His brother decided to save his own hide. And so when he's defeated, Astria pulls an Apollyon and says,
do you know how to tell a predator from prey? You can't, of course, unless you see them in war. Well done.
You're not bad. You're a wolf, aren't you? Tell you what, name your price and join me. And so he thinks about it a minute and he says, my price is my brother's head. And so Astria goes, it's yours. And so that's why he kills his brother and joins Horkos. Now, granted, it still goes into my primary problem, which is the repetition of the whole thing. It's just repetitive again. But at the same time, it creates a much more interesting connection to why he joined Horkos. It creates an actual vicious brute of a character like they advertised, and it shows that bestial nature. I don't know, I feel like that just rings out more than just this dude who they advertise as a tough feral monster who slays saber-toothed tigers. who but then folds once Astria gets a little wonky, you know? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And again, once his lore comes out, I'll be able to look into it a bit more and really give you a better understanding of what it is. And who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's actually really good and he's got good lore and there's more to this than I realized. But based on just what I saw, I'm a little disappointed. I wanted to see better lore than this. I think my biggest problem is it's all just so repetitive. I think that's the biggest problem of all. It is very repetitive. It is just like the Aphira season and just like the Ocelotl season. Some hero skin character working with or for Horkos goes and wrecks the shit of some innocent group that didn't ask for it, and then later on a hero will rise who comes back and beats the shit out of that hero skin and the shit out of Horkos and rights the wrongs done, only for Astria to slink away and plan her next Dr. Evil dastardly deed, you know? It's the same thing, and it makes me wonder what on earth is Astria even up to? What is she trying to accomplish? What's she trying to do? She starts by invading Arabia to get a secret thing and get the future. She forms an inquisition that falls through but isn't bothered when it falls through. She sends her soldiers to Mesoamerica to get gold, but then even after her Mesoamerican enemies destroy that castle, she's still not bothered. It's okay, she got her gold. She sponsors the Wulin to hold this big banquet, but then the banquet falls through and all of her Wulin allies are dead or worse, and she, again, doesn't care. She's fine. She then puts her money into Valkenheim. Oh, what she got going on in Valkenheim? She's threatening a small village. For what end? That seems so minor compared to everything else she's done, and why is that her big end-all to beat-all goal? Why put money into that? What's so special about this village? Again, maybe they'll reveal more in the lore, maybe there's more coming, but just based on what I saw, I'm not impressed. I just don't like it all that much. The hero looks cool, the hero feels cool, and he himself may be a really well-written character. But much like Vela, I feel like he may be a very well-written and well-designed character in a lore that is very subpar. But again, we will see more as we go further into this. I'm not raising my expectations too high, but we will see what happens, okay? Okay, now, I'll get off of my soapbox, I'll stop talking about that, but seeing as lore is something that I talk a great deal about, I wanted to say my piece on that. Okay, let's move on to the next facet. What's next? Let's talk Testing Grounds. Testing Grounds start December 14th through December 24th. The Testing Grounds will feature 3 hero changes. One for Peacekeeper, one for Magi, and one for Highlander. Now, the Peacekeeper change is going to be interesting. For the Peacekeeper, they're giving her an opening bash, which will allow her a free bleed stab, which they said they wanted to add because Peacekeeper, while strong in duels, isn't strong in 4v4 matches, and this will allow her to get in some opening and capitalize on her bleed capability. So I think that was a good change. They're also changing it so that her deflects are no longer dodge heavies, they are dodge light. So you have to perform a light on the deflect to get the bleed, which personally for me, I don't like, only because I love those accidental deflects I got, so whatever. And then her zone costs less stamina. That's about it for Peacekeeper. Everything else seems pretty cool, and I think these changes are warranted, so I like that. Magi is getting a change that everyone's been asking for. Magi can now activate his stance change mid-combo by performing a zone attack. So if he's performing a combo with his staff mode, if he does a zone attack, he will switch from staff mode into axe mode and vice versa. This is an excellent change. I think it's something he desperately needed. I really, really like this for Magi. This is a good change. Also, the axe stance finishing light will be undodgeable, and the axe stance and the staff stance light combos will be will no longer have hyper armor. Now, the reason why this is interesting is it changes up the way he plays a little bit. His lights in staff mode no longer having hyper armor means that he has openings to be countered, and his final light in axe mode having undodgeable quality means you can't dodge out of the way. I don't think he needed those changes, but we'll see how they go, because this is Testing Grounds. We'll just have to see how they operate. And then finally for Highlander, okay, so I'm sorry, I just didn't really notice anything all that different. They gave him a dodge attack in his offensive stance, and they made it easier for him to go into offensive stance while dodging. And they also made it so that when he does his grab to throw you to the ground, he doesn't do it super fast like he did in the first Testing Grounds. He actually still stares at you and throws you down. So those are the only things I noticed. If you saw more stuff, check out Freeze and Havoc and Marco Yolo's videos. I'm sure that they'll talk more in depth about it. So I'm not all good at that stuff, but that's what I noticed. All in all, I'd say that these Testing Grounds are going to be interesting. I know a lot of people are going to be trying out Magi because people love Magi, and for good reason. So we'll have to see what that changes. So I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, after Testing Grounds, the Hero Fest coming up in Title Update 1. We got January 4th for the first Hero Fest, January 11th, and January 25th. I don't remember all the ones they said. I know Highlander and Warlord will be among them, but I don't remember the third one. So we'll have to wait and see what those get. And then we get a throwback event in Realistic Elimination December 28th. So we're getting Realistic Elimination. So all of you who really love the realistic events, get ready for that. That's going to be awesome. I do love those events, so definitely try it out, especially if you want the cool all-black palette like the Apollyon set. That's the only time you can get it, so get it while you can. And finally, on January 18th, we're getting the throwback event Justice of the Pharaohs, which was the big Magi event, which is a unique Dominion mode without a minion lane. Yeah, it's just 3 lanes that you have to capture on your own. Kind of neat, so I enjoyed it, so I definitely recommend y'all try it out. Now for the part that everyone wants to know about, patch notes. What are the big patch notes? Well, I wrote them down here so that I would remember them, because patch notes are not as easy for me to remember because I'm more of a lore guy myself, fellas, so let's take a look at these notes. First of all, some minor bash changes that they're going into. Everyone's complaining and talking about the bash changes they made last season and about how some of them are just too strong, some of them are too weak, like all that kind of stuff. Well, they're making some of the changes based on recommendation, so these bashes are going to be more balanced out, especially for Magi and Tiandi. Everyone pointed out how Magi and Tiandi were now unbeatable because of their bashes. Their forward dodge bashes have been nerfed so that they will be a little bit easier to deal with. So Magi and Tiandi mains, you are no longer going to be the apex predators of For Honor, but you'll still be pretty tough. The other big change is going to be for Hitakiri. Hitakiri is getting a slight buff. Their hyper armor for their constant heavy chain is now a little bit faster coming out, so they'll be harder to interrupt in that attack. And they're getting a nerf because in their nerf, their light finisher is no longer hyper armored. So that means they can be interrupted out of that one. So yes, what they wanted to do was really have Hitakiri capitalize on their heavy exchanges. So they're trying to make that more of what Hitakiri tries to do, and I understand that, but in my opinion, you didn't need to do this. Hitakiri was already really strong as there were, so I don't know, I feel like this wasn't warranted, but hey, you know what? And that does make me ask a quick question. This is something that I'm kind of concerned about. What more are they going to change in terms of patches for Honor? Like, the game's not perfectly balanced, I know that, but what more are they going to do? Are they just at a point where they're just kind of experimenting with the bashes, and then after they get the bashes down right, they'll go on to other stuff? Or are they honestly running out of things to fix and they're wondering what to go next? I'd like to think that they have more to do, but who knows? This is just kind of something that I've been wondering. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. But that's all that's going on in Title Update 1. Title Update 2 is where we'll get the new hero. That's February 1st. February 1st, we will get the new hero. So everyone who's always asking, when new Viking hero, when new Viking hero, it's going to be February 1st. And before anyone asks, I know y'all are going to ask me, what do I think the new hero will be? Let me tell you what I know. The hero will be female. That much I'm pretty damn sure about if they follow the same pattern. As for what weapon they use, I don't know, but what I want them to use is a scythe or a glaive. That's what I would like to see them use. Okay? Awesome. Okay. New armor variations will be released February 1st as well, so we will get some new armor variations. What those variations are, I don't know, and if any heroes will get any new unique armors, I don't know that either. I hope they do. I would like them to, but I do not know. The next Hero Fest after the ones for this title update will be February 22nd, February 29th, and March 7th, but we don't know which heroes those will be. And there will be another throwback event on February 29th, but we do not know what that will be either. But that is all we know as of right now based on the Warrior's Den. Now, I want to say again, guys, if I didn't make it clear enough, the lore did not impress me, but that is only based on what we saw so far, okay? It is very possible that what we saw is not the full story. There may be more context, there may be more information, there may be a lot more to this, and I really, 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 really hope that I am wrong. I really do. I hope that there's more to this. I hope that there is more to go off of. And once I get to read the full 3-part story for Maddox, I will then know and be able to tell you guys, hey, guys, I was wrong. This is actually really good lore, but also be prepared for me to say, hey, guys, I was right. This is pretty bad lore. But we'll get to that when we get to it. Overall, I just want to say this. I like this season. I think it looks really good. Let me be clear. It was going to be hard to top last season. We got a really kick-ass hero skin, awesome game mode, and just all around really cool cosmetics and a cool battle pass. A lot of stuff about last season just blew it out of the park. So it was always going to be very difficult for them to really top that. So I kept my expectations at a reasonable level, I think, and overall, I'm impressed. The trailer looks cool, the hero skin looks cool, the whole aesthetic and the music look cool, the battle pass looks cool. I'm glad to see 2 new throwback events coming. The testing ground looks awesome. The patch notes seem decent enough, and we're getting that Icewind betrayal thing coming up, which I know everyone likes and I enjoy it too. So a lot of really cool stuff is on the way, guys, so I am very pleased with this season. Please don't make the mistake of thinking that I'm not satisfied. The only thing that bothers me right now is the lore, and even then I can't be 100% mad because I don't know the full lore yet. I'm just telling you what I saw, and based on what I saw, my big issue is it looks repetitive. It looks like they're just going back to the safe, tried and true, Horkos evil, Horkos do bad, hero come along and beat up Horkos, rinse and repeat, fall asleep. But that's what I have to say about that. What do you guys think? Are you guys excited about this season? What are you most excited about? Are you excited about the hero skin? Do you want to get Maddox for yourself? Are you guys going to be playing a lot of Highlander? And which of the testing ground changes are you most excited about? Let me know down in the comment section below. Would love to hear from you. And if I may make one request, please be respectful, guys. Even if you disagree with me and think that the lore is fine, please just be respectful about it. Don't insult me, as a few people already have. Please just, be polite. Tell me honestly your thoughts, and I'll be glad to hear you out, okay? That's all I have to say about this. Really excited about the season coming next week. Look forward to seeing you all on the battlefield, and of course, I will see you in my next video. Take care.